Good morning,
All right.
Commissioners. Item number 1 is an application for a certificate of appropriateness at 41-23 240th Street in the Douglaston Hill Historic District, docket number 16-3406, block 8501, lot 1. This is a neo-colonial style freestanding house with arts and crafts style elements designed by Henry A. Erdman and built in 1921. And this is an application to construct an addition, create and modify masonry openings, replace roofing, and install a terrace, railings, and shutters.
Good morning, Commissioners. Reba Ashby, Preservation Staff. This item is 4123 240th Street, which is located at the corner of Poplar Street and Prospect Avenues in Douglaston Hill Historic District. As was mentioned, the proposal includes, let's just go to the front facade here. The proposal includes constructing an addition at the rear of the building, which will be visible from public thoroughfares, modifying and creating new masonry openings at the north and east facades, replacing the existing concrete tile roof with new roofing material, which will not match the historic material or the historic roofing material, installing a terrace and metal railings featuring stucco posts at the north side facade, and installing shutters at the second floor windows of the northeast and west facades. The presentation also shows restorative work, which will be reviewed at staff level, which includes the installation of wood railings at the second floor terraces at the west and south facades. And the architect, Kevin Wolf, is here to elaborate.
Thank you, Reba.
This is in the Commissioner's Granville District.
Good morning, Commissioners. 4123 Prospect Avenue was built in 1923. In the Hill District, the lots are very generous. This is on a half-acre corner lot, as Reba mentioned. Stucco with a brick base. The roofing material is concrete asbestos tile, which was the faux slate of its time. This is the main elevation that you see from Prospect, which faces west. It's missing the railings on the two porches, the porch at the front and the porch to the south at the right. These are the plans. The extension is at the rear of the house, and there is a one-story piece here. There's a little stair that goes into the cellar, and we're actually building on the footprint of the cellar stair and extending that to make that little piece 2 stories instead of 1. I'll show you that on the elevation. So that is the extension. So again, it's within the footprint. This is just an areaway for the cellar window. First floor plan, basically inside we're opening up the north side of the house, which is dining room, pantry, and kitchen, into more 21st century kitchen. And because the north side of the house faces the bulk of the land, this house has a half acre, the adjacent house north of it has a half acre. There's the railroad cut, so you look like you're looking into endless woodland, and you're in Queens, of course, so it's a pretty nice thing to have. So our work includes adding a terrace here and opening up some of the windows on this side for French door and additional windows for a kitchen and family room. Second floor is 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. We're adding a bath. And the attic, we're finishing. The attic has 3 dormers, and in the rear of the building, the east elevation, a dormer with a full staircase that exists up to the attic. So we're finishing that space and adding a bathroom. So this is the north elevation from Prospect Avenue, where in the driveway, it's very hard to see this because of all the vegetation. The same family has owned this since 1923, and the new owner wanted to take advantage of this. This is an abandoned grass tennis court, the flat part, so there's a grade change of about 5 feet here where that new terrace is going that I'll show you. So this is a better view on the property so that you can see the facade, which is blocked by many Japanese maples. This is the same facade when the house was built. The house had shutters. Had shutters. You can see that the main hipped roof is here and it drops down. That's as it is now as well. This is the existing, the one-story bump out at the back that was a service entrance to the kitchen. And so we are building on top of that to extend that out, and that's what you see here, opening up some of these windows to capitalize on the view. And at the ground floor, a terrace with French doors off of the dining area. This is the kitchen, and this is a family room. So most of the work is within the existing space. All of the work is within the existing footprint. This is a rendering of the existing conditions taken from the roadway of Prospect Avenue. You're looking at the north facade, and we're looking southeast at the property. You can see there's quite a bit of grade change. The abandoned tennis court is right about there, and this is the 5-foot grade change. This is with the new terrace, which has a brick base to match the brick base of the rest of the house. It has wrought iron railings, and the wood railings up here get restored. This is the only house in the Douglaston Hill District that's stucco. The rest of them are typically Queen Anne. So this is kind of the anomaly. It's much more like the houses that are in the Douglaston District that's immediately north of this, stylistically. So this is the north elevation, and you can see this is existing, this is proposed. So the terrace comes right to the edge of this berm. It's about 12 feet deep, the new terrace that we're proposing. And then you can see the additional windows on the second floor. These are all single windows. This is a triple and a double here. This is a bathroom window in the middle. This is the family room, French doors here, and then new kitchen windows. When you go to Poplar Street, which is the southern edge of the property, there's an abandoned lot next door, so the foliage there blocks the view until you get right up to the property line. So because the back of the house, the east side, is close to the property line, I've shot this so that you can see the entire east elevation from there, and then I'll go back and show you the street. So this is the elevation for the east elevation. From 1923, this is the little bump out that exists. We're building on top of this and matching the roof line here. So this is a 5-foot extension and then a second story on top. So the 5 feet is over this stair. This sticks out 5 feet from the house. So we're staying within that. You can see in the drawing, you can see the original railings that we'll be putting back. So this is what it looks like restored. There's a little hood over the back door for weather protection, and then that's on brackets, and then the rest of the extension is over the existing footprint. This is what it looks like from the street. This is the east elevation, and this porch is the south. So we're talking about this area here for the extension. So this is existing rendering. The bump out here that exists. This is proposed, 2 stories. And this is existing and the proposed at the top. The west elevation is the front again. So the work that we're doing there is the previous owner, who's elderly, had boarded up the side lights, and she replaced the door. This is a storm door, but behind that is a solid door. This is what it looks like close up. The drawings that we have are not very clear. It hints at that the upper part of the door was glass, which is very typical of other houses in the area, especially in the Douglaston district, which has more arts and crafts houses. This is mostly Queen Anne's. So you can see that it's very hard to see what's there, but if you get up close, you can see the hint of that. And it's plywood over the side lights, so we're hoping that when we have a contractor on board and pull those off, that they'll actually be under there, and if they are, we'll let you know what's under there. But we're assuming they're side lights like the vestibule of the interior house. So this is that elevation. The missing railings are here. We put those back. And we have full side lights on the side and half glass door and half panel. This is the south side from Poplar Street. This house sustained some heavy damage during Sandy, in which the chimney was knocked down, pulled a bunch of the tiles off the roof, pulled the eaves off. So we, a few months ago, did an emergency repair to the chimney, which was reconstructed, but the roof for the moment is tarped because it's all asbestos. And this is that elevation showing you the new railings that are going to happen there. The chimney is in place. This is before the chimney was replaced. This is to show you the roof shingle, the asbestos concrete, which is a fairly lightweight material. And the issue with this house, the owner would have preferred to replace it with real slate because the roof is failing right now in addition to the damage. But because of weight issues, it was not designed for slate. So we're proposing faux slate of our time. This one is EcoStar. There are a couple of samples over here of the colors. The roof is, it's hard to see in the photo here with all the lights, but it's predominantly red. It's 65% red and 35% gray. I did some research, and it turns out that in the early 20s, the asbestos shingles were limited in color to a medium gray and a dark red. This is extremely faded, what you're looking at, and that's the close-up. So you can see they're kind of pink now, and this is the gray, and that's the moss that's covering everything. And there are double hung windows throughout. So this is a board showing you what it looks like. These are the two colors, which you guys can take a look at. They're recycled rubber product. They're part of the green movement and get the green seal of approval by people. Doesn't look great close up, but from a distance, it's somewhat effective. And in my mind, I've never used this product before or proposed using artificial materials. But in doing research about the asbestos, it turns out that that was a low-cost fake slate of its time. This is not a low-cost material. It's almost as much as slate. So it's really about the weight that has driven us to propose that. And there are also copper hips on this house, and this company, EcoStar, does copper hips. So we were very happy to find that we could replace that detail, which is a really nice detail of the roof. Some of the other companies we looked at do not have a way to do that, so that is what drove us to EcoStar.
Thank you, Kevin. Are there questions? Any questions? All right, we can, yes.
Sure.
Right.
Just noted that the house had shingles originally, shutters originally,
Yes.
sorry, at least on some aspects of it. And you're proposing to put back shutters, but I'm sure of that era, the shutters were real and operational. And it looks to me as if on some of yours, at least, when you've got a wider number of windows, that they're not real and not operational. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. In my experience looking at and working mostly on houses from the early 20th century, whether they had triple windows or not, occasionally like up in New England you'll see them stacked to cover that larger space. But I think even in the 20s they were more decorative than they were functional, even though they're on pins and all of that. What we're proposing here, what I always do, is to put their real wood shutters on real wrought iron pins. So at least you'll have that. But the idea of the triple, that's another story. And are you suggesting that perhaps they should be left off the triples?
No, I just wanted you to talk about them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, are there other questions? Okay, we can take testimony. Are there any speakers on this item? No speakers. All right. All right, the proposal has many parts, I think. So maybe it's worthwhile to just talk about various parts, or we could just opine overall. But I think just in terms of the massing changes, I think they seem very modest and very much in keeping with the planes of the building, it seems like, it's not one box, it has variations, and even with the bump out at the second floor, I think it still maintains sort of the feel of the home. In terms of, I guess the others are really bringing back certain features and the removal of the existing asbestos slate. Michael, and the swap for this new material?
It's a difficult game to play, this replacement material, and I think the reality of it is you would have to double the structural capacity of the rafters on this building in order to accommodate real slate. In fact, I think this is absolutely an appropriate replication of the original, and it's true. What won't happen is these won't fade the way the cement asbestos shingles did, but so much the better, right?
Right, and I guess as a practical matter, they really should remove the asbestos. So I think if this material works, that's fine. Other comments or yes? Any concerns? Yes, John?
Well, I guess the only angle on the building that really raises any small concerns for me is if you look at page 21, when you're looking up the rise, I think that's the part that you actually will see, as opposed to the rear of the building. I guess the only thing that sort of struck me was that the new patio, that wall on the front is. I guess it's a bit...
Prominent?
Sorry?
Prominent?
Yeah, it's a bit prominent, and I was it seemed that the rest of that new patio is much more delicate and gives you sort of that historic sense of openness that the balcony gives you, et cetera. So I was wondering if they might consider, instead of having that solid 3.5, 4 feet of wall on that side, they might do a pillar in the corner and continue the
railing?
The railing across there, sort of, because that's the single angle. I mean, if that was on the back side, I wouldn't be so bothered by it, but
No problem with that.
But I think that's a very good suggestion. All right, are there other comments? Okay, we can move to decision then. We'll close the hearing. And Fred, would you like to read that? Sure.
In the matter of 41-23 240th Street, also known as 22-222 240th Street, and 240-01 42nd Avenue in Douglaston Hill Historic District. The application is to construct an addition, create and modify masonry openings, replace roofing, and install a terrace, railings, and shutters. I'll note that the building exhibits the style, scale, materials, and design and details of the building are among the features which contribute to the special architectural and historic character of the Douglaston Historic Hill District. And I recommend approval, noting that the proposed work will not result in the loss of significant architectural features of the house or site, that the replacement of a simply designed original rear wing with a larger rear addition featuring a similar form will maintain a compatible relationship with the informal character and stepped form of the house, that the alignment of the new rear addition with the northern side facade will be consistent with the replacement of the original two-story rear wing being replaced. That the size and placement of the proposed terrace will maintain a balanced relationship with the existing extension of the southern facade, supporting the neo-colonial style organization of the front of the building. That the moderate size of the addition and terrace will not significantly diminish the prominence of landscape or overwhelm the house or neighboring properties, and will help these new components to remain subordinate to the original house. That, except for the metal railings, the materials, finishes, and details of the addition and terrace will match aspects of the house, thereby helping these elements to be harmonious with the overall design of the house. That the limited use of simply designed metal railings at the side of the terrace will help the terrace maintain a level of simplicity and be in keeping with the architectural character of the house. That the wood and glass materials, symmetrical arrangement, and multi-light configuration of the proposed main entrance will be compatible with the style and character of the house. That the proposed windows will match the historic windows in terms of operation, configuration, materials, details, and finish. That the design and details of the window shutters are based on the original design of the house as documented by historic drawings. That although some of the shutters will not match the adjoining windows in width, the relationship will be consistent with the variety of shutter conditions shown in the historic condition drawings and found historically at buildings of this type, style, and age. That the placement of the existing historic concrete roofing tiles is warranted by their deteriorated condition. That the replacement of the historic tiles, which contain asbestos, with an alternative roofing material is necessitated by health and safety requirements. That the proposed roofing will match the historic tiles in terms of placement, dimensions, and texture. Further, that the, and I'm not clear, the new terrace on the, what side of the building is that? I just didn't. West side of the building will be redesigned to eliminate the solid wall and will become a rail, similar to on the east side of the building. Is that from my right? North side of the building. Thank you. That's it.
All in, sorry, excuse me. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This application's been approved.